Hello, my name is Carla Apollo, and today I'm going to talk about celiac disease, a gluten-free diet, and the quality of diet. Celiac disease is an immune-based system condition triggered by gluten in genetically predisposed individuals and characterized by the presence of a variable mixture of gluten-dependent clinical manifestations, specific antibodies, haplotype HLA-DQ2 or HLA-DQ8, and bowel disease. The clinical expression of CED is highly variable and oscillates from severe forms with diarrhea, steatorrhea, and wasting, the oligosymptomatic or asymptomatic illness.
Gluten and celiac disease, from NIH Medline Plus magazine. Gluten, it's all over the news. But what is it, and where can it be found? Gluten is a protein. It is found naturally in some grains, such as wheat, barley, and rye. Nope, not you, rice. Common food products that have gluten include pastas, cereal, and bread. Sometimes gluten can also sneak its way into products like vitamins and supplements, lip balms, and some hair and skin products. Shh. Most people don't have a problem with gluten, but some people can't eat it because of an autoimmune disorder called celiac disease. The gluten makes them feel sick. Celiac disease sometimes is hereditary, meaning it runs in families. It's also very common. As many as 1 out of every 141 people in the United States has celiac disease. But most people who have celiac disease don't even know they have it. In celiac disease, gluten can trigger the immune system to attack the small intestine. Immune cells damage small, finger-like growths in the small intestine called villi, and the brushy intestinal lining becomes flattened. When the villi are damaged, skin rash with blisters called dermatitis herpetiformis. And in children, stomach pain, nausea and vomiting, slowed growth, and delayed puberty. If untreated, celiac disease can lead to serious complications like anemia, infertility, and weak and brittle bones. Celiac disease can be difficult to diagnose because it looks like many other diseases. If your doctor thinks you might have celiac disease, you may need a blood test looking for antibody markers like TTGA and EMA. The diagnosis can also be confirmed with a biopsy. A tiny tissue sample is obtained under anesthesia using a thin tube called an endoscope. The good news is there's a treatment, following a gluten-free diet. Patients need to learn what to eat and what to avoid, and to read nutrition labels carefully. For most people, following this diet will fix the symptoms and heal damage to the small intestine. But for some people, diet alone doesn't work. Finding hidden sources of gluten you may still be eating or using can help. Through the National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Diseases, the NIH supports research to learn more about celiac disease. Find out more about celiac disease and other topics at NIH Medline Plus, the magazine, medlineplus.gov/magazine. You can also search online for NIDDK celiac disease or visit niddk.nih.gov.
Currently, the only effective treatment for celiac disease is a strict gluten-free diet for life. Studies have shown that patients who take their diet very seriously not only reduce their risk of long-term health complications, including cancers and bone deterioration, but also tend to be free from stomach and intestinal discomfort. Gluten-free diet positive effects were observed in celiac disease patients. Increasing body mass index, higher energy intakes, reducing adiposity gain, moderates the risk of associated complications. The gluten-free diet is complex and difficult to follow. Long-term gluten restrictions can induce many health risks, including nutritional deficiency, cardiovascular problems, as well as an accumulation of heavy metals in the organisms.
Hello, my name is Joe Murray. I'm a gastroenterologist in the Celiac Disease Program in Mayo Clinic, Rochester. The gluten-free diet is the center of the treatment for celiac disease. Celiac disease has gone global, and of course so has the gluten-free diet. And the need for this in patients for celiac disease is a significant challenge to many people. We know that here in the developed world of America or Western Europe, there are a lot of resources for people with celiac disease who need to go gluten-free. It's still a substantial challenge. But as celiac disease has been diagnosed in other countries, in, for example, India, social, financial, cultural differences come into play and can impact the ability and even the burden of the patient to follow a gluten-free diet. Universally, it's recognized that social and emotional support, practical support including access to gluten-free diet, as well as appropriate education and follow-up of patients, is crucial for the effective management of this chronic disease. It's important as a matter of public policy to provide support for patients who need to be gluten-free for celiac disease. We need to recognize the cultural differences, the differences in medical systems. For example, in some countries, patients can obtain gluten-free foods by prescription. In other countries, a subvention is provided for the excess cost of maintaining a gluten-free diet. And in yet other countries, there are no such subventions or support. In this recent paper in Nature Reviews in Gastroenterology and Hepatology, my colleagues from around the world and I review some of these challenges. We point out, however, that central to success is engagement of the public health system, of doctors, dietitians, and others who can help support patients in achieving wellness through the gluten-free diet treatment of their celiac disease. Thank you.
In Ecuador, there are no numbers of patients diagnosed with celiac disease. For these reasons, it is difficult to have a figure of the prevalence of this pathology. In the city of Guayaquil, the Roberto Gilbert Hospital, there are 70 children diagnosed with celiac disease biopsy. There are no institutions or laws that protect patients who have celiac disease and do not have the necessary information on how to follow a gluten-free diet. When an individual is diagnosed with CED, he or she must face relevant long-term changes. On the one hand, the development of disease-derived symptoms entail a biological impact. On the other, the perceptions of being ridden with a chronic illness, the need to adhere to a restrictive, demanding, permanent diet, regular medical follow-up, and the possibility of relative sharing the disease determine a relevant psychosocial impact. However, adhering to a gluten-free diet is difficult for many people. A new solution is needed for quality of life of celiac disease patients, not for celiac disease treatment. Health education on gluten-free diet at home and in society seems to be the solutions. Thank you for your attention. See you next time.